Hey guys, it's Neil B, and I am here in the center of Times Square to kick off another fun and exciting Broadway season. From their first audition to their Broadway debut, we're going to talk to some fantastic performers who are going to tell us what it takes to get to the Great White Way. Hey guys, it's Neil B, and I'm here with McGill, and we're here live on Broadway.
I won't grow up. I won't grow up.
I'm from Long Island, and my mom always loved musicals and stuff, so I used to watch them with her all the time. When I was about 8, my best friend was like this, was a little redhead, and we're sitting there and we're playing or whatever, and my mom says to her, she's like, "Hey, they have Annie auditions. You should do this." And she was like, absolutely not. And I was like, I want to go. So, my father took me, and I wound up being Tessie and Annie when I was a little girl, because like every little girl does Annie. I always did choir. I took piano lessons. I was always involved in music in some way. My family's always been like super supportive of whatever I wanted to do, of me being in the arts, of me pursuing something that doesn't necessarily, follow traditional guidelines or make sense, in those very traditional American value kind of ways. My family's always been really cool about that.
I started singing in church and around my community. Started doing regional theater. My first major regional theater was Starlight Theater in Kansas City. I was put into contact with a child who had an agent in New York. I got my first New York City agent, and my parents brought me to the city to audition for my first Broadway show, and I moved here when I was 11. I did The Secret Garden for a year and then traveled for a while doing traveling with country bands and doing music shows, and did Star Search while I was on Broadway. So I kind of had a really great performer's childhood. I didn't see a lot of shows growing up. I saw a few, mostly musical movies like Little Shop and Annie and The Wizard of Oz, but I didn't know what Broadway was until we came to New York to audition for it. I thought it was a big theater where they did a different show every night.
I'm from Pittsburgh, originally Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my mom used to take my sister and I when we were like 2 or 3 years old to see, fairy tales stuff on stage. So that's kind of what got it, the spark going. But really, I started to get into musical theater when I was about 9 or 10, and was just blown away by it.
Well, I'm from Boston, Roxbury, which we call the Harlem of Boston, at least I did. But, so we didn't see a lot of theater. But, Boston used to be the tryout. Before it came to Broadway, they would go to Boston. So my parents got some tickets to see a musical called Pearlie with Melba Moore, Sherman Hemsley, and so they took us to see that. I had no idea what we were going to see, and I fell in love. Literally fell in love. I could not believe that I was transported from the costumes, the lights, the singing, the dancing. It was absolutely amazing and something I had never experienced before. I didn't know that I was going to have a life in the theater at that point, but I knew that it was something that I really loved, so much so that I came to New York to see other shows. I saw Jennifer Holliday in the original production of Dreamgirls. I saw Stephanie Mills in the original production of The Wiz. So I really had a love for theater, but I did not think that I would have a career and a life in the theater.
And I'm here with Rebecca Larkin, and we're here on Broadway.
I hope I get it. How many boys, how many girls?
I would just say leave your nerves at the door. So it's not about how talented you are, it's about how right you are for the role. So to go into a room and take things personally, just it doesn't work. At least for me, if your dream is to be on Broadway, then that's what you're going to do. I mean, it might take you 5 months, it might take you 50 years, but if that's what it is and that's what you live for, then there's no other way to do it.
Saturday, I decided that I was going to do something I never did, which was audition for a Broadway show. No training, no vocal training, no acting, no dancing, but I'm going to go to a Broadway audition. And lo and behold, I was cast in that first national company. So sitting behind those tables are just people just like me. They are in a different position. They're in a position to hire you, but at the end of the day, they want you to be good. And if you are someone that is not known in the industry, they want to be the ones to discover someone new. So I say go in there and remember, they're just people that you're singing to. They're just people who want you to do well. Just do the best that you can do. Whether you get that role or not doesn't matter. If you go in, and I've gone in and I have done great, and I've been impressed with myself and not gotten the role, and it hasn't hurt me because I knew that I went in there and did the best. And there are various reasons that you don't get a role. Well, I mean, you know, it's great to have the passion, it's great to have the desire, but if you're not prepared for opportunity when it presents itself, meaning that, you know, though I didn't study theater and I didn't study music or dance, I sang my whole life. I sang at the opening of a welfare office. I was just singing. I took every opportunity to perform, and that perfected my ability to perform. So that when something like Miss Saigon came along, I was able to deliver because the elements of performing are all the same.
And if they can't see who you are in the audition room, how are they going to know what you have to bring to the character? So it is a real challenge to walk into a room and play you and do you, and just be comfortable and relax and just have a conversation with them and look at it as an opportunity to perform for somebody and not a moment to be judged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for every 100 auditions you do, you might get one. So, you know, I deal with typecasting here and there, but for the most part, I've been very lucky. Just study. I mean, do your research, network, get out of the apartment, get to open mic nights, meet people, meet your peers, really find out what the people that you emulate and that you want to be doing what they're doing, find out what they're doing to get there. Because it's one of those careers that there's no ABCD path. Like a doctor has a process that we all know what the process is. No two actors will you talk to that have the same process to get to the same place.
Going for Bernie Telsey, I wound up going in for Bart Scherer. I thought I was going to die. I really thought I was just going to explode. Sing your face off, always. Like, I mean, I know people can get really specific about type of song. You know, be like, we want legit, we want ballad, we want up-tempo, we want pop, we want gospel, we want country, da-da-da-da. Like, my personal experience is that I have maybe 8 songs in my book that I carry around all the time. I use 4 of them like all the time, and I've gotten most of my jobs with the same songs. You know, and the only way for you to really stand out is to just, you know, to figure out what you're the most comfortable with, and to have that be better than the other people who came in that day.
We're here with Kevin Anthony, and we are here live on Broadway.
I don't remember it at all. I do remember I was very spoiled in that the company of the Secret Garden was just very gentle with children. They were used to having children within the company, treated like adults because we were paid like adults. And you'd go to school all day, every day, and then do the show 8 times a week. It was high pressure, but I just loved what I was doing so much.
It's literally, I mean, it's something that you pictured for your whole life. I mean, and it's finally happening to you. So, you know, my husband came, a couple of us, this was our first shot, you know. It was thrilling, it really was. I mean, to see a packed house, to see all of these people that I saw, that, you know, that when I saw Avenue Q, you know, 2 or 3 years before that, they're on that stage with me, like all of these people, and all of a sudden these people are my peers, and that's a whole other thing to just sort of wrap your brain around. I mean, also, honestly, as somebody, you know, as an ethnic minority, it's a totally different ballgame.
It's just waiting in that wings for that first downbeat, you know, of that music. Everything in me was just shaking, But there's something about being a performer and being an artist that we thrive on that energy, and we know how to channel that energy. And like electricity must have just gone through my body, and I just did not really think it was real. So I went on that night as Tui, and standing ovation. It was, I just thought that would be the best thing that I ever did. And of course, I was the first African American to play the engineer in the history of Miss Saigon, I might add. In the history.
My dance teacher from when I was little, Rochelle Rack, was in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It was being choreographed by Jerry Mitchell, who was also about to choreograph Lacage. So he was asking for, you know, someone that could swing, someone that could do all of these things that he needed to do, and she just suggested that, you know, maybe I should go in for it. I remember, you know, being so nervous and everyone cheering me on because I was 17. And I just remember, like, at places walking down the long hallway at the Marriott Marquis and everyone just, like, cheering for me. So that was really cool.
Hey guys, it's Neil B, and I'm here with the fantastic Marty Thomas, and we're here live on Broadway.
My first time on stage, there were these keyholes in the set and, you know, stairs behind it, and no one had told me that there was a gap between. So I got stuck in it on my very first step on Broadway. I went flat on my face and popped right back up like it never happened.
Blooper moments in Wicked, just because it's such a huge show, things are bound to go wrong. One night Eden Espinosa was playing Elphaba, and we were hunting the witch from beneath. And at the button, she, I guess, had a little too much gusto with that broom, and that broom is heavy. And she dropped it, and it caught me right in the head, but it was in a blackout. So when when the lights came up, I'm on the ground trying to get my wits about me and trying to figure out what happened. When we figured out exactly what had happened, it was kind of funny, but it just felt like somebody had clocked me in the dark.
We're going to have a special performance just for our viewers, so tell us the song you're going to sing.
This is a song called Deep River. It's an old gospel song. I've sort of put my own spin on it, and I use it for almost everything they'll let me use it at, even though it's not actually from a show. I feel like it's a beautiful song, and I feel like I can just sort of show them what I'm comfortable and happy doing. So, deep river, my home is over Jordan. Deep river, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. Oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast, that promised land where all is peace.
So I'm going to do a little excerpt of a song that I've actually been doing recently because I still perform around town in different various places. So this is a little song that I actually do a cappella, so it's perfect for me to do it here. Not Broadway, but still good. Birds flying high, you know what I mean. Sun up in the sky, you know what I mean. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I mean. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Just a little something, just a little something.